like why I got into it. And then I found social tokens. I found NFTs. I found like just crypto as a whole and what it really means to be decentralized, and the idea of us being able to own every funnel. These types of these types of things like really interest me as an artist. Where it's like, yo, you could in theory create a world in a metaverse and own every aspect of it, and like just put your album there. In theory, like you could do something like that. Maybe most people wouldn't do it, but and it might not be popular at first, but in terms of the creativity around it and the way that you can design it, I think is infinite. And I think that's something that like really attracted me to this whole game. There still is the traditional sense too, which we talked about before this even. It's like a part of me wants to stay exclusive to blockchain, but you were talking about how it's about the joining of the two, which is really going to take it to a mainstream level, which I do agree with. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Long answer.
No, that's fine.
What
That's
about you?
perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, we often talk when it comes to music as concept like fair and transparent. That's something that maybe be missing in for many professionals across centuries. No, not centuries, but decades is enough. Is the lack of transparency and fairness in the music business, and that's where the blockchain screams and say, hey, we have the answer. And you're like, how? What's the answer? It's the technology that can treat everything in real time and authenticate every transaction, and then put smart contracts or just contracts that are applied by a machine and not by a human that will compromise it. Or and also doing things on your own end, and not in a major label office, which will sometimes try to influence you in the wrong direction. And yeah, so, and as you said, there's this problem where the community is ranked to just be listeners right now. When you look at Spotify and all the
Right.
streaming platform, you can just be a listener and not interact in any way except by listening to the music, and then there are the gatekeepers to the money. And but we can see here in the blockchain space that every people in the community is trying to find a way to interact financially in various ways. Like there's like 20 different ways for an artist and his community to earn and share value together. And yeah, it's just opening like too many doors of possibilities, and being in an ecosystem where you know that everything is tracked in real time and not compromised, so everyone has his stake and can just focus on the creative level. So yeah, that's how I got interested into the blockchain, because I've discovered too many skeletons in the music business, traditional music business, and yeah, I was looking for a way to change the whole thing and just be a creator as I always expected to do it, like being independent and disposing of tools that will allow me to be fair and to check my business in a transparent way, and yeah, managed by something in which I could put my trust in, which is here the machine, the blockchain. And yeah, that will allow me to know that the business is deal 100% correctly and as it should. And so I think once this message will really be understood by the artist or the professional business, like it will spread. It's already spreading like real fast, like a TikTok bomb. It's crazy to see how fast, because how powerful the message is.
Dude, this is that dude, right?
Yeah, that's
I don't
Alan
know.
Solo. Exactly.
Yeah, this dude's fire.
I'm playing
I like
some
this guy.
background music to make it
If I
more
could buy
chill.
his token, like
Yeah,
I can't tell you. I've paid a lot of it. I've paid enough attention to like call a few artists. I feel like in my day, and like I feel like if I was able to buy their token and support that
Yeah,
early, dude, that would have been the greatest thing on the planet.
I've been this way too. I mean,
And that's real. That's
discovering
real.
new artists in the space gets you want to be involved and then participate in their economy and reward their move. And then yeah, I've collected a few NFTs already from artists which I love, and I love doing it. I would love to do it more, and I've got also some great feedbacks on my album, and people interacting with me on a financial level, supporting my work through the blockchain community. So I'm experimenting ins and outs, and it's really great to feel this new economy happening. I mean, it's priceless.
Right, right. And it is so new.
Yeah.
Like it's so new that there's an infinite of ways to like approach, let's just say NFTs for an artist, you know? Because like for example, even the ones that you know, like, or the ones that you have of, are they one of ones? Like, I think like the idea of an artist being able to decide how many versions of something he can mint, so interesting. And I think that the infinite potential of creativity that you can have with that too, you know, I know that I've dabbled with a few different ideas, but it's like, you know, I want to almost have a one of one for every song, and I want to have a one of one for every album. But then I might want to have a different one NFT for that song that maybe is maybe a snippet of it, or maybe the full length, or whatever, vice versa, depending on what works best or whatever. And then you have like hundreds of those, like 100 of those, or 1,000 of those, and those come with a different set of things, right? And it's like I think that the idea of being like like it's infinite. So I mean, what do you think about that? Like when it comes to like,
I mean,
how many additions like
yeah, that's curious
you
because
feel is necessary, or do you have any thought on that?
I took some time to understand the real scarcity of doing a one as being an artist, and my first ideas about the numbers of editions was like the traditional industry. I was just seeing it as vinyl limited editions, like because I come, as you can see for the people who knows, I have a parcels in CryptoVoxels which looks like a vinyl shop, because I had my dad had a vinyl shop for 40 years, and then I learned from this experiment. And what's interesting about it is that for the biggest artists, having a limited editions of 500 vinyls could be considered really scarce when it comes to the Beatles or some really big stars. And so for me in the NFT space, I think when we reach the mainstream stage, those numbers are really to be taken into consideration, even though one-on-one is even more scarce. But I think between 500 and 1,000 there could be some sweet spot of scarcity for big artists around the world.
I do feel that, absolutely, because like, yeah, like a one of one, like
you want to make your community able to it's because you want to make the community able to have a life, and if you have a one-on-one, the secondary sales aren't gonna be very often, and then you want to give the ability for new people that hasn't jumped on the NFTs, versus some people that got involved into, let's say, 500. On 500 you will still have some people that will play the game of investing and just selling, not being long term in the investment, and then let the place for new people that couldn't get one of those NFT to like, how to say, like an idol. Like there will always be much than 500 people that will love one artist, if it's a big artist. So when one sells, there's always gonna be people that are going to buy the one that sells even though it's sold out on 500, you know. Do you see what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
say?
think, I mean, you mean like when an artist gets big enough, it's kind of like, if I'm understanding what you mean, like once you're big enough, it's like 500 is scarce.
Yeah, that's the point.
Like for Drake, like if he came out with an NFT and said,
And
"Hey,
it
here's my
creates a
whole
market.
catalog NFT or something."
It creates a market because with one-on-one you don't really create a market. You create legendary NFTs. It would be what I call, but it's not a market that is going to trade off of it on an everyday basis based on the community.
Right.
So
I
it
can
gives
feel
more
that. So like
dynamics.
when it comes to like the law about it, I know that we've talked about this, but I'm curious if anybody else has any thoughts. Like the biggest thing that I think I've thought of when it comes to like creating a token around an artist or having NFTs that essentially you can use and stake against like royalties or things of that nature. What are the legal issues that really arise from something like that? Because I feel like if becomes really successful, what is the actual way the law looks at that? Because you're basically creating a stock for yourself. I mean, in the worst way to put it. I mean, not that that's illegal, I would assume it is illegal unless you have some sort of verification through them. But
Yeah, and
I don't
it's
know if
going
anybody
to
has any thoughts on
be
this. But
it's going to complexify more and more. So, but honestly, for now, I don't know the if there's really much how the regulation is happening here on the I don't know on the tax side or everything. I mean, for the crypto, I know, but for the NFTs, I have absolutely no clue how to deal with that yet. And yeah, I'm talking currently with people that knows about it, but I don't have clear answers yet about when it comes to NFTs. And yeah, as being something like a stock, or even though the social tokens associated with a community, which can be compared as a security, yeah. But on the for the NFT properly, I have no idea yet. I'm just
yeah,
working on eggs.
no, right. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about this as obviously a little more,
We will learn
probably a
about
little
it.
more like tricky. But yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's not something that we really I really know much about anyways. I just am very curious about it because uh, I do think that that's like the biggest hurdle I think that most artists are facing if they're like really trying to launch something with that really benefits somebody who holds it. Because I think like the idea of giving out 50% of an album is fire, but the question is like how does that work out, and how does
Yeah, and
how does someone actually go about doing it?
with the Web three, I think we will really see different experimentations, like people putting the algorithm in different ways. I think some people would, like you said, allow a part of the royalties directly to the people holding the NFTs. But as well, just the NFT can be a storage of value, betting or investing on an artist. So in some way, the artist doesn't necessarily have to to give a part of their royalty because they are if their value is going up and they are going to be successful, the NFT itself would take more value. So there's different ways to look at it and different needs because everyone is kind of different being an artist. And so yeah, that's what's interesting as well with Web3, the music and the blockchain is that it will break us out of this traditional way of promoting, making music and everything, because we all have to go through the same way, or
Hmm.
but there's thousands of ways to interact between an artist and his community, and that's what the blockchain and the music can open.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That goes back to like, yeah, like just having the infinite amount of like creativity with like a token and all these decentralized platforms like and metaverses. that's like where, you know, the creativity comes into play. But having so much at stake, I think is a lot to handle. A lot of people are doing it together, but it's good to have like places like this where, you know,
I
you
mean,
can kind of like interact with
I'm just
everybody.
thinking out loud, but you at some point you can imagine something like you take the sandbox, which is a virtual world where you own a land, and when you have this land, you can build game mechanics on it, and one artist could like release a song, and if they win the race on the land, if the game mechanics is something like a race, the one that win the race win the royalties share, you know, for example, and it's only allowed to one people, and then you could
Yeah, I
have
like
like a hub NFTs or different things around. It could be. I think there we will see a lot of bundles. Like we've seen this with the Deadmo 5 drop recently, and with a Beeple drop as well, that broke records into the NFT space, up to $3.5 million and more now. And I think having different mechanism into a release is really something that we are going to see more and more and more.
Yeah. You mean like, do you think, when do you think, like, we were talking about this beforehand too, is like, when do you think that there will be that moment? Do you think it'll come from within the actual, do you think it'll come from the traditional route? Somebody like a Drake, somebody like Taylor Swift that says, all right, I'm going to go and do something that's completely around blockchain? Or do you think that it's going to be kind of the opposite of that, where you have an artist that's strictly blockchain, and it's kind of like how, because what's interesting is the internet gave everybody a fair playing field, but that quickly got bought up by big corporations and special interests that have, you know, just like different agendas than letting, you know, your average person blow up on social media with a natural algorithm that shows them to whoever they're actually following. Even, you know, these things are obviously a little more rigged nowadays than we probably want to believe, but I would say that now with the blockchain world, we can kind of bypass these things, but they would have to be exclusive to the blockchain world, whether that's blockchain only, you know, social media, where you're able to monetize and own every post, and as well as a token that goes along with everything, and you create a real economy in that world. So much so, and they're basically, they create a new mold for every artist after them to say, okay, this is how I'm going to do my shit, because you're infinitely more valuable when you do it like that.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean.
But like,
I
I
mean,
guess the question would be is like, what do you which do you think is more valuable, like, to really happen in the short term or long term?
I mean, for me, both sides, like the traditional industry and people working in a blockchain from the street, will work hand in hand and will complete each other. Because for me, the best disruption really comes from the street, as I would say, like from most of the initiatives we see today in the blockchain space. It's really creative people, isolated people, because the biggest an industry is or a company is, it's more like a turtle. So it's not agile, it's not moving fast, and then it cannot break the rules and be controversial so easily. So it's the one that doesn't have too much attached, and can move freely and quickly and have innovative ideas that are doing the things that will definitely inspire us, the big actors, the one that wouldn't have this impertinence. And yeah, and they will work hand in hand, and because obviously the NFT space, the blockchain space in general, needs more visibility. So definitely you will need some big money or some big influencers to get into the game, to make it happen more quickly. So I don't know which one will be the catalyst, and for now nobody knows.
No, for sure. I think you're definitely right, though, in basically saying that it's going to be both. I mean, that's definitely the answer, because, you know, I mean, the second one happens, the other one will happen inevitably in some fashion. So But just yeah, like just think about a 2-year-old right now. They're gonna grow up in a much different internet world, most likely
Because you know
not as
what's
free as we'd like to believe it's gonna be. But
when I think about it, what's fun is that you know we've seen some big actors like Muse, the rock band, that got into CryptoKitties, and being a rock band, a successful worldwide rock band, it's kind of curious to me that they didn't got into an initiative that was related to music. They got into an initiative that is related to NFT and the whole technology. But as being a rock band, a successful rock band that could use their first move into the blockchain as being music related, they did like a card collection, a card game collection based on CryptoKitties. Like they did a rare CryptoKitties Muse collaboration, and but there was nothing related to music really. It's just having a CryptoKitties special edition Muse, you know. And so
yeah,
sometimes it's weird to see big actors getting in the field, but they could
well, right. I
do the
think
punk shit in music and you know push the thing forward in especially in music, and some of them are doing it, but sometimes they just miss the point, and but maybe they will come back to it obviously later.
right. Yeah, I think eventually it will happen. But I think you're right in the sense that like Muse does doing something like that. I think a lot of people just write it off as like, oh, it's just them doing some weird shit. Like, it's like I think like people rationalize things that are happening in front of them all the time. I think it's how do we get them to realize what the real education of like what an NFT really is, even,
Yeah,
and how
what's
you
the
can.
Web3 about when it comes to music, and yeah, definitely. But
Yeah, just
we've
like
seen some pretty
what
big names already.
music really like.
We can mention some artists like Boys Noise, Deadmo5, MIA. Yeah, there's really big names that are interested into the blockchain. We even had Justin Bieber at some point, but it was kind of a mysterious move, and that's related with the XRP thing we talked earlier. But yeah, there's
Really?
definitely yeah.
Dude, that's interesting. Dude, I mean, like, not to say we should get into that, but I mean, that's interesting stuff. I mean, we don't want to veer off, but like, trust me. I mean, you never know what to expect there. I think the one thing to keep in mind with this is like we have no idea where it's gonna ever go. Who knows what kind of show it'll turn into in week 4 if we
No,
make it to week 4.
but
But
I'm definitely feeling right now, even more at the start of 2021, that the late boom of the Bitcoin and the NFT space got some food for food thoughts. Uh, is that the word? The food for thoughts
I don't know.
for big actors that are currently thinking about, okay, there is something here. How can we get involved and not burn ourselves on the first run? Because there's this whole dimension as well with the blockchain when it comes to music, is that it's forever. You know, once it's on chain, you don't have to make them. It's your credibility, it's your life as an artist. So you don't want
Right, right.
to crush it on the first run, obviously, and so you're just getting back, thinking a lot about your current situation, your big community, and but I think more than ever, we have some big actors thinking about it currently.
Yeah. Dude, it's interesting to see how that'll develop throughout the next like couple months, because who knows? I mean, like, I don't know if there'll be a big moment in the world that will cause things to become more realistic, but it's all speculation at the end of the day. But I mean, still interesting, still interesting. Um, but dude, so mentioning XRP just because you mentioned it, what is X songs, and like what's that about?
Well, X Songs is a platform kind of based on NFT concept, but it's not really NFT as we know it on Ethereum blockchain. And the platform has been developed by one of Ripple's executive who is passionate about music and really wanted to do something to disrupt it based on XRP. and they started a beta version of the platform, which I tried a few times ago, but since then this executive has moved on to another job, which is still XRP related, but is related to develop a wallet, some sort of MetaMask, but based on XRP. And so I think for them it's more important to develop those aspects first. But it's interesting to see that his first love is working on music, and that he already put out a beta version of a XRP-based NFT system where you basically put your songs and someone buys it in XRP. And but I saw
Really?
there was some crazy moves.
I'm just surprised with like the involvement. I mean, just like the people I follow and everything I know, I really had not heard about that until like today when you sent me that. And I was like, what is that?
If you go,
I've never heard of it. So it's just so strange that it never got any traction, really, is what I feel.
No, because it really was a beta version that was pretty functional, but there was no UX, there was nothing really developed except I mean, the wallet is connected, you can buy my song actually, but it stops there. It's just proof of concept at this stage. But that's interesting to see that XRP is really into disrupting the music industry as well, because if you go down the rabbit hole, there was some deep connections with big industry actors, such as someone that can be mentioned, which is Scooter Braun, which is a big business manager for artists, which
he knows. If anybody knows, he knows. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, if he knows, a lot of people knows. And he's the manager of Justin Bieber, and he also worked on projects like Psy, you know, the Gangnam Style, the first video that hit 1 billion on YouTube. And also he had beef with Taylor Swift buying his whole catalog, which is pretty paradoxal when you think about it in the blockchain space. Like, how would you buy the Taylor Swift's catalog if you want to disrupt the music industry with the blockchain? But 100%. He has been caught in some...
Just to like pop in, because that just made me think of something that's just so obviously, like, I think the main thing that just always my mind goes to as the first problem is like, it is like that. Like, if Taylor Swift was fully on the blockchain, she wouldn't need a label. She wouldn't need any of this stuff. She would literally, and she would make probably way more money in some fashion. It obviously will take so much adaptation from her fans, but in some respects, like, it's like inevitable that happens, but it's just about access. Like, how can we bridge that access gap and like that technological gap or that educational gap, whatever it really is and whatever it really stems from? That's really it, because it is just like that. Like, if how could you do that if Taylor Swift was completely on the blockchain? You couldn't. And it's like, that's another thing. It's like artists who want to like fight for what they deserve or whatever. It's like, this is the prime opportunity to do so in a lot of ways. So it's just so interesting to see how it's like, it's really just a technological educational gap or something that's just, maybe people are just so entitled to music nowadays that there's no way to really like take that back in any valuable fashion, which I agree with that too. It's just like, that's why it needs to be done in an interesting way. Sorry, I just ranted there, but just a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm really trying to find some information about the XRP developments in music, but it has been pretty quiet this last year. So I hope there will be something coming up this year in 2021, but I will definitely be looking that way as well.
That's dope. So do you want to like maybe talk about just some of the audio streaming platforms that are blockchain based that you know of? Like, that could be something that I feel like could be just informative. Like, if anybody's interested in just listening to blockchain artists, like strictly blockchain artists, we could probably like
you
about just some of the platforms that are really doing some shit.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, there's 3-4 main platforms that has.
Yeah, I'm curious what you say, because I have a few, but I'm curious what you say.
I mean, I'm definitely looking forward the development for Audius, for Emanate, for Musiccoin as well. And let me see. I mean, for me, that's the 3 main projects I'm into.
Okay.
But personally,
I would say
on the personal
I definitely
level,
agree. first two, Audius and Emanate, I totally agree with. I'm definitely feeling Audius probably the most right now, but I also fuck with Emanate really heavy. But it's hard to. I think that there's just more of a more attention and more, I think more going on with the Audius team. But I think Emanate has the right idea too, and they're like a little further in other aspects when it
And they
comes to
develop
blockchain.
different, yeah,
You can technically.
they they develop different tools. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, Emanate
Right.
is great because you can already set your smart contracts, and that's not the case for Audius yet. So they have different agendas and developing different tools, but it all completes everything that we see that goes out of their development. Is really inspiring, and I think they will also help develop each other.
Yo, my bad. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I do feel that. Like once one figures something out, the other ones will just basically follow suit in terms of like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I was gonna say Rocky actually. Someone just said Rocky. I agree. That was the
Yeah,
other one I was
I
expecting you to say.
I
Talk about
definitely have a long
talk about
list.
Musicoin though. I'm
Yeah, Musicoin is.
yeah.
I mean, it's my baby, even though someday it dies. I don't know, but I wish them luck. It's just the first the first how do you say, the originator for me of music streaming blockchain based. So it's like the first open source which is worked with the community. It's just the community, there's no company behind, there's nothing. It's just an open source tool that is out there, and then the community helps develop it. And because yeah, it's kind of complicated. It's been created like 3 or 4 years ago, and they were running their own blockchain, but taking care of your own blockchain is something really complicated, because if your project doesn't meet success, you just don't have nodes or computer power to make your blockchain process your transactions. And that's what happened with the Musicoin. So they just moved on to an ERC20 token, so that they wouldn't have to focus on taking care of their own blockchain and focus on developing a cool platform. So they already have the basics, the ideas, the concept of pay per play, because it's based on this, like you hit one play, you got one coin, and that's the idea everyone liked around it, and it's open source. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, even though it had some hard times during its life because of this blockchain issue that is now resolved. But they are doing some development now on the platform, and I hope they will be releasing the new platform this year as well.
You mean on for Discord?
No, their own website, so a streaming service where you can stream straight into Musicoin.
Oh, really? That's great. So wait. Sorry, are you talking about Musicoin?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, thought you were talking about Discord for a millisecond there. I was like,
No, I'm
What do we
still
get there?
talking about Musicoin. But yeah, there's Rocky as well, which was a company, an initiative named Shun before it became
I
Rocky. And that's an interesting story as well, because they were really early on the streaming-based services, along with Musicoin, and I saw a lot of common members between Musicoin and Shun at the time. And then they had pretty bad times, and they had to shut down Shun. And so at the time, Emanate was hosting all the Shun people between the transition into a new company, which is now Rocky. And I thought it was a really nice move from Emanate to support the Shun initiative, because they could be competitors, but they definitely helped transition and give time to Shun to transit into Rocky, being an NFT-based platform. And yeah, I haven't had the luck to try Rocky yet, even though I saw some profiles and check out the website, and I listened to the interviews from the CEO of Tune, and I've been following the story. So yeah, I would love to put out some news as soon as they will have more coming up this year. And I don't know about Loft Radio, mentioned by Bruce the Goose. I will be looking into it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, those are just some of the platforms that you can currently do some stuff on. But yeah, I'm waiting for some platforms to just make it real customizable. Really, like I want to be able to token gate an album.
Like
I want to be able to like do things like this. Like those are the things that I think like I think like we just got to create layers of access in these websites basically. And then when those elements are easy to use by the average person, that's what's gonna like
yeah,
take
and
the creativity to another level too.
that's the
I mean, look at
last
TikTok. TikTok is
thing.
just a really advanced social media app. Really,
Yeah.
people are able to do creative things very simply.
Yeah, that's the point, and that's the last thing I wanted to add about the streaming-based services. Is like it seems to be very complicated to deal to make progress in this space specifically, because there has been dozens of initiatives going into streaming services based on blockchain, and already most of the half has been lost on the way and just shut down. So luckily some of them were strong enough and creative enough to continue until today and raise some investments and have a good vision to make it work. But it seems to be definitely a challenge to base streaming services onto the blockchain for some reasons.
Right. Yeah, I mean, some good stuff. Should we do something? Should we do something interactive right now?
I mean, we can. We are almost at an hour of show, and yeah, this is what it's looking. Talking about music and blockchain, so.
Right, and it's really just like I think laying out some like to me it's like right now I feel like we're just trying to lay out some of the problems in our own opinions, and I feel like then throughout the weeks I feel like it'd be good to like try and find some solutions is really the key, but that's gonna just take like just back and forth conversation. That's why it's like cool to just do it kind of live. But I think doing some segments each week would be fun, like figuring out some stuff we could
as
we
well,
could really like interact with everybody
and showcasing some artists from the space, which all the stories I'm seeing and studying are incredibly inspiring, and there's a lot to learn for this new Web3 based economy in the music industry from every artist experimenting in the space. And yeah.
Right.
Big shout out to Token Smart and to everyone in the room for listening all through, and I hope you enjoy this topic as much as we do, even though we are still not very organized, but we definitely are very passionate about it and try to be as cutting edge as we can be. And yeah, we would love to continue this format as well and give some replay.
Yeah, I was just about to say like we're figuring out what exactly works and doesn't work,
but also sharing the story of we are witnessing every week from the now growing music community, especially talented artists. I would like to make a big shout out to everyone that helped us learn through all this information and made us get into this world.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I really want to just figure out something that we can do with everybody, because it's like what do you guys want to see? Maybe that's something we can leave everybody with is like, you know, we probably didn't do enough character development during this, but whatever you guys think would be cool to see or hear about in this field
Yeah.
would be sick to read about, to hear, because there's we could ramble back and forth with each other all day, but ultimately,
And it's all about
we want to
feedbacks.
try and give you guys something that's
Yeah, learning
Please
in
say
this
again.
space is all about feedbacks, especially in music, in my opinion. It's like learning from the invisible.
inform us. I mean, kind of. I don't know how good at informing we're doing, but it's definitely giving you a perspective, a very biased opinion. But sharing music would be cool. That's what I mean. Like, I know that we could definitely be selfish and just shill our own music, but at the same time, like, I don't think it's
No, man, I
I
think
don't know if that's
there's.
like the move.
I
We
think
could do that though.
that can be interesting to get into some artist experimenting, like every week. Take a few times to experiment and see what people are developing on that side. Like, because some artists have cryptovoxels parcel that we could share, or NFTs that we could listen to, have collaboration, have rooms, or Easy can sing as well. He's invited. I'll set up a mic.
They definitely want the
defin-
show.
Yeah, and hear new
But,
music. That's an idea where I'm very looking forward to it. Like showcasing the NFTs and the artist developments through them.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think that's cool. Like I said, we could definitely do some of our favorites, and then, like, if we really want to be selfish, we could share our own shit as well. And I know me and Mighty are working on a project that will be coming out probably in like a couple months, but it's interesting. I'm excited to share it.
Next week we already have our guests set up. And yeah, so I mean, during the week before this first episode, I was opening a text file where I took note of every interested topics I wanted to talk about when it comes to music. But it is kind of already advanced topics, and before getting into those, we felt that, like, sorry about the English, that's the French mind coming over. We felt like it was important to make an introduction to the topics and maybe just a sneak peek of how we would talk about it when we go deeper into things. But yeah, that's the point. But I have a lot of topics right under my eyes, which are
I'm all about it, Sandy.
incredibly-
Personally, I love it. I'm sorry not to cut you off. I agree. I love it. I said this already to Mighty, but it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we didn't want to be
I agree.
completely we didn't want to be so selfish, we don't want to, like, just like, hey, like, come look at what we're making. Like, there's a lot of people that I feel like we could shine light on as well. I just think, like, what's real interesting, yeah, I feel that, but I really do think that, like, I'm looking for people who are really in this space that are trying to, like, help build a solution to a lot of these problems that I feel like we run into in this field, because that's like my most interested thing with this show, is being able to just kind of talk about those. I think, because I just want to hear like what people are, like, think to actually create a world where this is realistic full time, which, I mean, I'm all in, but it's just, yeah, that's what I'm really interested in. But I mean, we're down to show our own shit too, no doubt. Well, we can definitely make that
Because
a
we are
segment
doing
next
our
week.
own improvements and own experiments that are different than others, but it's just that discovering new work from new artists, getting new creations, and how to deal with Web3 is just blowing my mind and my eyes from amazingness. I don't know if this word exists, but it's just the passion talking. And when I see a piece and when I understand what it connects with, or try to break down in the blockchain space, it just sit on my ass and have some humble respect about it, and just I could talk about it for hours, trying to break down what has been the mindset behind this disruption that this or that artist made.
I like that. I like that idea, Sandy. But yeah, no, I mean that's a good point. It's really is. It is like just it's just something that we can't even hide. I feel, or you can't even fight it. Like once you get involved, you realize like this is definitely it, but it's kind of frustrating at the same time because there's so many things that need to be figured out. But that's why being early on things and like being a part of that discovery is gonna benefit for sure. But I just believe that this is a better place to people to actually value themselves. I just really feel like that's the key for all artists, and I mean digital artists and artists like visual artists. They have realized that for sure, and so is the market. The market has realized that they like it as well. Whether or not it's gonna sustain at as high as that we saw this year with some things, who knows how that expands. Like there's a lot of things yet to be figured out, but I think it is it's no doubt like this is the place for sure. But just lots of stuff to figure out.
Yeah, and I think we are running out of time. We are doing the full clock of 1 hour show.
I was actually just about to say, yeah, not to say that we're doing anything that's super entertaining or anything, but I am curious, what is the runtime that we should kind of aim for these shows?
I think the 1 hour is a good line for me. And yeah, we could do like 20 minutes covering news, 20 minutes covering the artists and the NFTs and their experimentations, and 20 minutes answering questions from new artists or upcoming artists that want to understand how the blockchain works and this and that. And for me, that would be the three important sides that would compose the show and be interesting about.
Yeah. That'll be cool too, because then we won't just rant on one topic the whole time. We can kind of we know we have like a limited amount of time for certain things, but I kind of honestly know like I did very little preparation. but the point is I just figured that would kind of make it what it would be, and then we could figure out what worked and what didn't work just by doing that. So I feel like I learned a lot, I think. So I think that it'll be good to like go forward next week, especially because if you guys want to see us do stuff, oh no, you guys kill it. But I feel like if we want to do like our own stuff, we just don't want to do it too much. That's all. But I don't know. Down for whatever.
That's fine. So, I mean, I think we'll leave you there, and I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll say next time for something more organized, and then we will get into the deepest and craziest topics about music and blockchain and what happened during the week.
Yeah. Love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, organized.
This was level 1.
Yeah, it's kind of. I like the disorganized organizations. That's how I work.
We definitely need an outro. I mean, hey, we could just like make something right now. I feel like cooking up live is like something I was interested in as well. But like, I mean, like that's what I mean. We just need to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do people want to see, what do people not want to see. But
yeah, I mean,
we should have a rant section too, where I can get it all out. 5 minutes, easy. That way I don't have to rant the whole time.
I mean, are we eating on someone else's time? I feel already that Token Smart is a radio. I've heard all the new shows and thing, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. And so I wouldn't be taking someone else's time. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for.
We're affecting anybody else.
Thank you, Sandy and Results and Easy, Jet Dragon, and all the people in the chat room for listening to this show. And we'll give you a rendezvous for next week, same hour, same
Vanilla-delphia.
space.
Of Vanilla-delphia. It's over. Vanilla-delphia, yo. I mean, hey, we'll do a whole show just for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we'll put the replay as soon as possible and share the link in the Token Smart Discord, definitely.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, let's get a rating this week. What did we get? A 1 from 10. 1 from 10. And don't give me a fucking 10. I swear to God. Oh my God. Room for improvement is all we need.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Thank you, everyone.
Drago Nate, I honestly agree.
He knows.
That's actually that's a pretty accurate number in my opinion. We didn't do terrible, but like, let's be honest though, guys. We could definitely figure Blackjack. Yes, Blackjack knows. Blackjack's the realest dude in here.
Well, peace out, everybody, and see you next time. And thank you, Mai, for this awesome talks.
Start was bad. I love it. GB.
Start was bad. Yeah, we will figure that out next time. But that's the ghost in the system.
Was it at all interesting hearing us banter real shit though? Like, was it at all interesting, or were you guys like, hey, like maybe do something more organized next time? Like, really, that's probably the best question I could ask. Is it more interested to do answer, or is it more interesting to do structure? We love it all. Fair enough. Vanilla-delphia is encouraging me, and I am interested to keep a show going just for her, just because she's interacting with it.
That's kind of frustrating as well, because what the list of the topics
it is frustrating. No,
I have under my eyes are definitely something very interesting to talk about, but we kind of limited ourselves to an introduction surface for the first episode. But I think you will have to lock your seatbelt for the next time, because we're talking some crazy things.
I don't understand what's happening, but yeah, no, I love it. Everyone thinks I'm a woman. Did I refer to you as a woman? I mean, actually, now that I look at it, I probably would have, just because of just the name. Color. It's definitely biased of me, I guess.
Yeah, and a shout out to McMaster. Yeah, it's time to cut the stream now, and to wish you a good evening, and feel free to send us some feedbacks, and we'll send the replay link as soon as possible.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I feel that. But yeah, I mean, hey, thanks to everybody who came out, listened.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
And
we'll work hard.
Excited to expand it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Work hard.
Let's work hard, everyone. Let's go. Okay, bye.
Well, all right. See you later.
See you.
Bye bye.